Kia ora and welcome to the Woolworths New Zealand Primary Connect Driver Induction Program. At Primary Connect, we care deeply about the physical and psychological safety and health of our carrier partners, visitors and team. We're committed to creating a safe work environment where our partners and teams arrive home from work free from injury and illness. Our health and safety policy is available on our safety and policy notice boards. In this video, we will take a look at the following topics: our safety expectations, incident management, arriving on site, traffic management and safety, docking, unloading and loading, leaving site, on-road safety, and raising a concern. Our safety expectations. We believe being proactive is better than being reactive. Nothing is so important that you can't take the time to do it safely. It is okay not to feel okay, and it's absolutely okay to ask for help. We are all accountable for a safe work environment. There will never be an acceptable reason not to comply with work safety and health legal obligations, or our safety and health standards, policies, procedures, and processes. Incident management. If you identify any potential hazard whilst on site, please report it immediately to a Primary Connect team member so we can take the appropriate action to prevent an incident. If you have an incident or sustain an injury while on site, please report it immediately to a Primary Connect team member. First aiders and first aid stations are located around all sites. Mental health first aiders are also available. Following an incident, an investigation will be carried out. We really appreciate you helping us with this investigation to make sure we're doing everything possible to keep us all safe. Arriving on site. When you arrive at one of our DCs, you will be asked to complete the check-in and validation process. Arrival at site is within 30 minutes of your purchase order booking times. Please ensure you have all the relevant paperwork, including purchase order, invoice or delivery docket, and container weight declaration if you are moving shipping containers. Inbound trucks may be required to be weighed. If you are selected to be weighed, please cooperate with instructions from the DC to go over a site weigh bridge. It is a condition of entry to site that all trucks must have a park brake alarm, or preferably an automatic park brake installed. This is for everyone's safety. You may be asked to test your park brake alarm by a Primary Connect team member, or otherwise validate that you have a functional park brake alarm or automatic park brake. Traffic management and safety. Drivers must follow our traffic management plan and observe the site speed limit. Follow traffic arrows and never drive against the arrow direction. Seatbelts must be worn at all times. Pedestrians always have the right of way, and all reversing vehicles have the right of way. Make sure you park only in the marked parking bays and not over pedestrian crossings. No mobile phones or electronic devices are to be used while driving or when walking around site. No headphones, earbuds, or any other type of headsets are to be worn while driving or when walking around site. Phones and other devices may only be used while in a truck if stationary, with the ignition off and handbrake applied, or while in the cafeteria or in designated driver safe zones. All drivers must wear high visibility clothing and safety footwear that comply with New Zealand standards at all times. The high-vis clothing can be a shirt, vest or jacket. The clothing needs to be day-night rated, which means that it includes reflective strips visible from all sides. We enforce a zero-tolerance policy for the use of drugs and/or alcohol and appreciate your cooperation with this. Smoking, including e-cigarettes, is only allowed in designated smoking areas that are marked. Drivers are not permitted to operate mobile equipment, material handling equipment, or other vehicles unless specifically trained and authorised on each site by a Primary Connect team member. Restricted areas are marked as such and are not to be accessed unless you're given permission by a Primary Connect leadership team member. All Primary Connect distribution centres have an emergency evacuation alarm system. When the alarm is raised, please follow instructions given by a DC representative and evacuate to the nominated assembly area. More details regarding site-specific directions, traffic management, evacuation assembly points and hazards can be found on the site information sheet. Docking. For docks, only reverse on or depart from your allocated dock when the light is green. If the light is not visible, please treat it as red and report to a Primary Connect team member. For on-grade unloading or loading, a stop post will be placed in front of your vehicle prior to unloading or loading. Apply your park brake and report to a DC team member using designated walkways and designated driver access. You will need to hand over your keys and other paperwork to a DC team member. Your keys will be retained until the unloading or loading process is finished. If a driver does not comply with the key handover and retention process, we will investigate why this has happened. A potential outcome of this investigation may include the driver being unable to return to the site. You must remain in the driver safety zone during the unloading or loading process. A Primary Connect team member will advise you when you can move out of this safe area. If you need to access your trailer or driver amenities on site during unloading or loading, please notify the Primary Connect team member first. Unloading and loading. A person who is loading or unloading the truck is in charge of the loading or unloading area. Drivers must follow instructions from the person in charge. If drivers need to enter the loading and unloading area, they must first ensure that the person in charge is aware that any forklifts or other MHE have stopped operating in the exclusion zone prior to entering the area to access the vehicle. Unless specifically agreed with the person loading or unloading the truck, drivers are to wait in the designated driver safety area. If drivers are only dropping off part of a load, the driver must check that the remaining load is restrained correctly. Receiving team members will return keys from the retention location once unloading and loading is completed and the dock light has changed to green or the stop sign has been removed from the front of the vehicle. If a driver departs the dock on a red light or while a stop sign is in place, we will investigate why this happened. A potential outcome of this investigation may include the driver being unable to return to the site. Leaving site. Follow traffic signs to the exit point whilst observing the site speed limit. Ensure your park brake is applied and a minimum of a 3-metre gap exists between stationary vehicles during exit inspection. A gatehouse team member may ask you to open your trailer for inspection prior to leaving the site. Please cooperate with these instructions. Vehicles must follow instructions from the gatehouse team member about weighing at dispatch. If you are outside your axle or total mass limits, you must notify a Primary Connect team member immediately to organise your return to the dock area, and you must not leave the site. If you are departing the site with a container, you must have completed a container weight declaration prior to exiting. On-road safety. Whether you are contracted by Woolworths New Zealand or working on behalf of a supplier, everyone has a responsibility to have controls in place for the critical on-road risks for heavy transport. We have 5 key focus areas that we are working on with the carrier community, and we would like everyone to participate in this program. Say no to distractions. Distraction is a leading cause of serious crashes. You need to choose not to be distracted, which means no eating or drinking except sipper water bottles while driving. Don't use handheld devices while driving. Avoid long phone calls, even on hands-free devices. And it's important to take regular breaks to eat, drink, and make phone calls. Drive at a safe speed. Excessive speed is one of the biggest killers on our roads. The faster you go, the more likely you or someone else could be killed or seriously injured. Travel at or below the posted speed limit. Drive to the road and environmental conditions, and never speed to make a delivery window. Stay alert and manage fatigue. The first and last 2 hours of driving are the most dangerous, but fatigue can strike at any time. Make sure you are managing fatigue both at and outside of work. If you have a fatigue event, feel tired or feel unsafe to drive, you must stop and have a break for at least 30 minutes. If you have a second fatigue event in the same shift or continue to feel tired or unsafe to drive, you must stop for the day. Park and couple safely. Controlled vehicle movements. Every time you get out of a vehicle, make sure the park brake is applied. Follow the site process for wheel chocks and key retention. Semi-trailer coupling. Back trailer just under the skid plate. Put the weight on the fifth wheel before reversing on fully. Visual check the jaws if engaged on the kingpin. Complete a tug test before connecting the air lines and another tug test after. And if distracted during coupling or if something goes wrong and doesn't feel right, drivers must stop the process and restart procedure from the beginning of the process. It's okay to not be okay. It's okay to not be okay, and support is available for you. Make sure you are focused and feeling mentally well when driving. It's okay to not be okay, and if you aren't in the right headspace to drive, please tell your dispatcher so they can help. And if you need support, you can always come and talk to any member of the Primary Connect team. Carriers and drivers need to manage all risks associated with transport, but we believe that if we focus on these 5 critical risks as part of a wider safety program, we will make Kiwis' lives safer every day. Raising a concern. Speak Up is an anonymous program that you can use to confidentially report safety concerns, fraud or dishonesty. Phone 0800 393 76736 or visit the website woolworthspeakup.ethicspoint.com. Thank you. You will now be asked to fill out a few questions to make sure you understood the induction. Thank you for your support, and please keep safe.